Come on, start streaming. There we go. Yes, I would like to start streaming the live event. Yeah, I want the cheesy poofs. Alright, does everything look like it's working? Looks like it. So I'm going to start with a brief preamble because sometimes YouTube cuts off the beginning of what I'm saying. So sorry to delay you even further than I already have. I know that I said 1 o'clock and it's now 1:07, but you didn't actually respond to me, so hopefully you're not actually watching this live. But if you were watching it live, hello, and you're welcome to ask questions as you watch the episode. So, starting now. Hello, and welcome to a new type of thing that I'm trying out here. I'm going to be helping people with their problems on Unity3d, and I'm going to be doing it based on questions that I find on the internet, and this is kind of my first one here. It's probably mostly going to be from Reddit, but I don't really have a name for this segment. It's probably kind of part and parcel of the Unity how-to stuff, and hopefully everything is configured properly here, so it feels like my microphone is actually a bit high. It'll be fine. People always say that it's too low normally. So what we're gonna do is click this button so people can actually see what my screen is doing. There we go. So the question I have here is trying to get an image as a texture on an object as a full screen map. And what Captain Giggles wants to do here is he wants to make a texture full screen, and he wants it also to be a game object so he can layer stuff into the scene. And so what we're going to do here is I've got a little 2848 by 2048 to do the full test on here, and I'm going to create a plane. Now if you have a quad object set up, you can go ahead and use that. I'd like to use the default Unity stuff in primitives when I'm doing my show, but honestly the quad is more efficient for this and more appropriate for this. So we have this plane. We can then drag our image onto it, and so we already have a texture thing that we can put on the screen. So I'm going to maneuver the camera. The default is kind of set up for a first-person shooter setup, so I'm going to set the Y to 0, and then I'm going to take our plane here and I'm going to set to 0, 0, and 0, so it's nice and in front of the camera. And we're going to rotate it by 90 degrees in the X and 180 in the Y. And there we have it. The screen should be staring at that. So if we hit play here, you'll see that we have, well, as soon as it's done doing this thing, we'll see this. We have this very dark screen. So first let's fix that. All we need to do is, we could add a light to the scene, but it's much more appropriate if you're just showing a texture to change the shader method. So the shader that you want to use is unlit texture. So this will give you a nice shiny glow in the game screen. So now what you'll note is we already are most of the way there, and depending on what we want to do here. So Unity is based on the vertical field of view. The camera has a vertical field of view that you can set here that changes the field of view. And it also is based on the as I said, is the field of view and then the vertical resolution. So the vertical resolution is multiplied into the field of view. So if you notice that the vertical resolution changes, the texture automatically scales appropriately. If we want to bring in the picture closer, so one of the things we can do is, if you're doing this kind of 2D style like this, you might want to consider doing an orthographic projection as well. This allows you to get things a little bit more close to pixel perfect. So on here we can just change the size, and you can get different zoom levels for the map. And in the other mode that we were previously on, which is perspective, we can adjust the field of view to whatever we need. So what's happening in orthographic is there is no field of view. It's actually a square field of view. If I switch the camera to orthographic and we look at the view field that it has, you can see this is actually not a conic. It's not coming out of the camera or going into the camera, however you like to think of it. While a perspective one is. And so perspective gives you depth from objects. It's the reason that our eyes are round, is so that we can see relative size of objects to determine how far away they are. We also use two eyes to do depth perception as well, but this is the main thing. So what we have here already is what you want, is the scaling thing, and this maintains the aspect ratio of the object. And I would suggest setting it up this way rather than trying to programmatically get it exactly perfect, because actually I'm pretty sure in the case of the orthographic mode here, if we set this to 5, is that perfect or is that actually cutting something off? That's probably cutting something off. No, 5 is perfect. So I can't whoa. What did I do? That's interesting. Hello, Unity. Whoa. That's kind of cool. I am going to close my game screen. I'm going to open another one. Huh. Well, I haven't seen that one before. Cool. Naturally, this would happen on a live thing. That's generally what happens. I'm going to quickly save the project. I hope. Save the scene. Main scene. And I'm just going to quit Unity here and bring it back. Hopefully I'm still... Oh, wait, I know what happened. I screwed up my camera. I set the size to 0. That was really dumb of me. Alright, so size 5 looks right. I think I dragged the window at the same time and I thought something else had happened. So, sorry about that. So this size is exactly right, and that'll actually probably work for you right off the bat. Now, if you want to actually get the aspect ratio to be perfect as well, you're going to have to do a little bit of scripting and a little bit of scaling. So this is really simple to set up, though. So let's do stretch to aspect ratio, and we're going to quickly write up a little script that does this. And I know that I'm just resizing the screen here, but this actually is the same as changing resolutions. If you were to change resolutions before you started the game, this is how the object is going to look for you. And as I say, you can keep it in frame very nicely using Unity's setup. It is annoying sometimes, especially like most of the time you actually want to keep your aspect ratio because you want things to look better. Like you don't want this to look stretched out. But the problem with that is if you keep your aspect ratio... so the problem with that is if you want to keep your aspect ratio, you want to fill this in with art, and you have to fill it in with enough art to fill out whatever you need. And so the vertical aspect ratio can sometimes be a problem. I wish you could actually switch between whether it was horizontal or vertical, but you can't. Because sometimes you want more room to stretch on the sides than, like maybe you want to cut the top and bottom of your map niceties off as opposed to the sides. So, did mono develop open? Hello? Okay, there it is. Let's go ahead and put this up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just attach this to the game object that we want to scale. And we're going to scale that game object based on the current camera stuff. So we're going to take the camera.main.aspect ratio. So it's just aspect, that's all it's called. This just returns a float. We're going to multiply the x scale by that. Let me make sure it's the x scale that we want. I'm pretty sure it is. If we go to the plane and we adjust the x scale, that's the position, not the scale. Yep, that's exactly what we want. So we're going to set transform dot... Okay, we're going to need a temporary variable. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Vector3 new scale equals transform dot scale. We'll go with local scale. That will be fine for our purposes. New scale times equals, and I think that we just multiply it in here. We might have to divide it. I forget which, since it's the vertical aspect ratio, we'll find out if that's right. I'm not someone who usually memorizes stuff. I just usually test it until it's right. And then finally we want to reset the transform.local scale into the, we want to set it equal to the new scale that we have just adjusted. And actually, we didn't want to multiply the whole scale. We wanted just the X component. Otherwise, we could have just multiplied the whole transform scale, and that would have worked. So if we attach this to our plane now and hit play, we should see, whoa, okay, that caused a problem because we're doing it every frame, and we're not taking into account the original scale. So it's actually going to be new scale. Here, let's just new scale equals camera main.aspect. Let's see what that does. There we go. That was right. So there you have it. So now if you resize the screen, this will automatically stretch to the appropriate size. And if you resize it vertically, it will automatically stretch to the appropriate size too. There's a little bit of artifacts when you're actually doing a live resize. Most games are set to full screen anyway, so they can't even do a live resize. So this will suit your purposes if you want to get everything stretched out on your screen. Anyway, I hope that that was informative, and I hope that it actually all got on the internet successfully. And I hope that my microphone wasn't tuned too high. Thank you very much for joining me today. And you have an excellent day working on games. So now I'm going to just talk for a little bit because, as I said, I don't know exactly how the streaming on YouTube works, and so I don't want things to be cut off at the end. Hopefully, I noticed that the live streaming has been changing as I've been using it, and one of the things that they added was a countdown screen to the time, and it might even automatically cause the stream to go at that time. I haven't tested that, and then it might have a closing time option too to automatically close the stream. So tomorrow I hope I don't mess up the settings and make it so I cut off anything at the end of the episode, because I tend to run long on my episodes. Let me check to see if anyone's actually watching this stream. Because I should ask for questions. I realized I didn't have a tech here. And where is it? Yeah, we'll just click this and see what happens. I don't think anyone's watching. Oh, no. Wow, there's 8 people watching. It might have a closing time. Not what I would have expected. Option 2 to automatically close the screen. Stream. I should probably turn this off. Yeah, okay. So that's really cool. As I said, I hope all this went well. I'm still going to wait. I'm going to wait 1 more minute before I stop rambling, because, again, I don't want this to be cut off, and it probably will be if I mess it up somehow. I need to figure out a way to test this for sure. I need to have like a time code on my screen. I'll do a time code test later today, I think, where I run a timer or something on the corner of the screen, start the episode, have it be like a 5 minutes, just roll the camera, and then see where the timer cuts off. Did I get any comments on the actual... I don't want this to play. Don't play it. Alright. Let's just look at the comments. I think there's a way to look at just the comments, isn't there? Come on. Why are you loading comments? I don't want you to load comments. Well, I mean, I do want you, but I want you to be done. Why are you not done? Oh, it's playing again. Do I have any significant drops or anything? Oh, good. No dropped frames. That's good. That's real good. What is going on with this? Is there a way I can get to just the comments page? Is there like in my control room or something? Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, that's enough time. Thank you very much, and good night once again. Well, not good night, but good day. Whatever. I'm going to cut it off on YouTube's end first. So, video manager, live events, Live control room. Stop streaming. You sure you want to stop streaming the live broadcast? Yes.